Right. So, can you introduce yourself first?
Hello, my name is Josh Skjold, and I am so excited to be a part of this eco-linguistics project in your own backyard with you, Renata.
So, the first question that I wanted to ask you
Okay.
was how did you end up here? I mean, not here in this garden and in my backyard,
Beautiful Stare Redzen.
but in the wider, like, sort of sense in Poland.
In
how
Poland.
did it happen?
Okay, so 25 years ago. I was I graduated from school with an English degree in creative writing and literature, and I had some education credits and had done some work while I was in college, volunteering with students, elementary students, and I thought, geez, this is pretty cool. This is really nice, and it's a good place to be, and it's feels like I have some sort of purpose to be living, and I'm able to reciprocate and give something back, and that was really an important value to me. So when I graduated from school, I went on to AmeriCorps. This is a domestic Peace Corps. So I went into the educational section, and I was teaching, and with my credits, I was able to advance my certification and my capabilities, my competencies, I suppose, and getting my feet wet with the opportunity of having teachers around me to guide me. So this was super, super valuable. This was really kind of what changed my direction. After a year of that, I thought, all right, this is great, but I have never left my 3-mile radius of my world, St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm from the Twin Cities. And I was looking at places to go. This was 1997, so it was just when the internet had kind of started, more or less, for me anyways. And I found online some places to go. I could have gone to France or Spain.
Yeah, that's why I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
why not France?
Or
Why
China
not
or
Spain?
Japan. I thought Poland just sounded really interesting to me. I've got a cousin who comes from Polish roots, and I spent a lot of time with their family and really liked them. I don't know, you're young. You're young and you just choose something. It just felt like the other places were either too familiar, like I knew them pretty well, or they were so far away that I thought, I don't know if I'm that adventurous. And so Poland seemed like kind of a happy middle. And I thought it would be adventurous enough. And I was ready to leave kind of the American glut behind. So I thought that this will be a nice opportunity. There won't be so much stuff there. And it'll be a chance to take my guitar and me and do some teaching. And it was absolutely correct. And by the way, did I mention I talk too much?
Which is good because you are going to teach your students to speak.
I will be doing lots of listening.
Yes, you will. Okay, so another question. What do you enjoy doing? I mean, I know a little bit, but tell me more.
I enjoy sharing ideas with people, and I enjoy sharing ideas with people about systems that function, whether it be artistic, cultural. I just love it.
Understanding how things work?
Right, and I think that you can draw analogies and metaphors from anything, and especially things that you don't know about. So I think a curiosity to see how things work, and whether it's like communication between people or moving from place to place. I think that these are all, or how a place is heated, or how water is used. Right now, my big passion is how gathering rainwater or wastewater from our house can flow directly into our garden and into our like immediate ecosystem. Because I think that everything about a yard is about somehow capturing the resource that comes there and keeping it there and then moving it around and using it in a positive sense for everyone, equitably, for everyone, every being that exists in your system.
So that's one thing. You came here by bike, almost. I mean, not all the way.
Yeah, train. I love trains. I love bikes. I like biking. I love biking.
And you play the guitar.
and I play the guitar. I like to play music, absolutely. And I like to play music with people. I like to listen to music. I can't imagine life. I think most people probably can't, though, without music.
How about reading?
I love to read. I love to read. I read probably, I don't know. Okay, full disclosure. Lately, I've been getting into audiobooks, and so I go out walking. I love to walk at night. There's another thing I love to do. And so I'll pop in an audiobook or music, depending on what I'm feeling. But I started doing the audiobooks, and now I'm like in three book clubs at school. And, yeah, in addition to like all the reading I have to do for my research. And yes, I just love the transporting nature of reading. It's kind of like music. You get into a book and you're in a different place, and it's like, oh my God, it's just a book, and it's your mind, and it's another system.
Now, let's talk about the course that you prepared. You
Okay.
created it. How did it start that you actually thought you had this aha moment or light bulb moment and thought, yeah, I'll make a course. I'll just write a course and prepare. Or,
So yeah, at a school I was teaching at one point, the director of the school kept saying, we need more, we need more activities after school. The kids need more activities. Who wants to offer up more and more and more? And I'm a teacher. I'm an EAL facilitator, so I help students. Our school, the lingua franca, is in English, so there are plenty of students, 70%, who don't speak English as their mother tongue. So I coach teachers. I run English as an additional language, English for academic purposes course, and then I come into other classes and do co-teaching, and then I support the students in their work and subject area classes. And from what I could see, and I see a lot of classes, I am in classes every single day, lots of different classes, students are overworked. They've got too much. I said, so, this is, and I think it's a very, if I can say without stereotyping too much, it's a very American thing, is more and more and more. Growth, more is better, growth economy, all of these economies around us can grow exponentially. And so when he said that, I thought, there is a point when things get to be too much. Like, there is a too much. And I know probably for everybody else, it's like, oh, yeah, I get that. But, you're indoctrinated in America or in the West, I think, in this idea that growth is good. Growth is good. That's all the messaging you hear. More, 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 more. If you have 6, you should have 12. And so he said that, and I was like, no. Students shouldn't have more.
more.
And then I started thinking about, when we're throwing out garbage and where things go, it's like there is just too much. And so it comes back to examining systems. I thought, what if we can strike a balance? And what if we can communicate that, if we can experience that? And as you know, as longtime language teachers, this is my 25th year of teaching language. I thought, how can we integrate this into a class? There's got to be something out there. And I've always loved nature. I'm a Boy Scout, was a Boy Scout and Eagle Scout, and did a ton of camping, and I love to bike and run and stuff. So I was outside a lot. And I'm just like, this is, we've lost our balance. Like, it was just that moment that made me think, like, all right, so this growth, this unending growth, is not possible. And how can we start to examine the systems around us in that sense? And I found ecolinguistics.
Which is?
Just by chance. Ecolinguistics is a discourse analysis. So it's analyzing the language used, created, employed, put together, to examine the relationship that either the user or the receiver has with the natural world and how they engage with it, which might be nothing. There is no engagement and a total ignoring of the, it could be completely anthropocentric, or it could be nature-based, where they talk about this kind of fundamental piece of reciprocity with the natural world, that I take something, then we have to give back, and we're a part of this world. And so as I began to read that, nature reading, Aaron Stibbe is one of the big names in ecolinguistics that I read a lot of, but there are certainly plenty of folks who are doing it. And I thought, all right, how can I get this into English language learning? I started looking at some of the materials. And I thought, oh, why don't I just create them, as we do as English teachers, like, oh, this is a really cool idea. Let's incorporate it into a language lesson, because basically the subject areas can be anything as long as we communicate. And we want to do something, of course, that is relevant and valuable for students, and that would leave them a place so they could, invest, student-centered learning and learner autonomy, and that they were able to invest themselves into. And I thought, what better to invest themselves into than where they are and what they're doing, and to look at the world, where it's going. I don't know who has the answers. I mean, nobody really right now.
Nobody. Yeah.
We're in limbo. But I think that this is kind of a good direction. It's an examination of kind of where we're at through language and meaning.
Showing that language is not the only, it's not only a school subject, which is often the case that students perceive it as such. Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope with this, so far it's been pretty good. It's eye-opening. And I think that when you can open doors with language, this is what language does, isn't it? Like when I first came here, nie mówiłem żadnego polski. Nic.
Nie mówiłem wcale po polsku.
Całe.
Wcale.
Całe nic, wcale. O kurczę, tak. Ale zaczynałem grać, zaczynałem rozmawiać z ludźmi, było coś potrzebne, ale dalej było pytanie dla mnie i prawie w tym czasu nikogo nie mówili po angielsku. Bardzo mało. I dla mnie to było jak magia. Niesamowite. Można biedny polski jest, ale otwierał drzwi dla mnie do inny świat. I dla mnie to jest po prostu coś niesamowitego. I the same idea with learning English, it's like it opens up doors to new things.
So many of them.
I'm really curious. So this is my impetus, my motivation behind this.
Very nice. Okay, can you...
Oh, maybe I'll add one more thing.
Yeah.
So it also, students can be active. This is very much active learning, and oh gosh, this is the most important thing actually, is that it takes students out of the ecology of a classroom, the ecology of sitting, being behind desks, in front of computers all the time. We do use computers a bit. We use Google Drive to garner response, so we're able to have a dialogue online about your writing and expression, videos as well. So we do use technology. I think it's hard not to, and it's a good piece. Really, this is something, some of the elements that we have in here are modern, using the tools we have, and public speaking elements, as we talked about earlier. So it's, the really important thing is that it gets them out of the ecology of the classroom and into nature.
So if you could just give us an outline of how the course is going to look.
Okay, so what we do is we meet, and students have the opportunity to show who they are and show where they are, and it'll be via presentation, small bits of writing, nothing too long, anyways, in the beginning, mainly paragraphs. Small paragraphs, maybe 3 to 4 sentences. They don't even have to be organized into paragraphs. Yeah, absolutely. And these are meditative. So things that people are thinking about. And then I look at those, and later on, and I'll give you feedback on that particular piece of writing, and we dialogue on it. So on Google Docs, there's the opportunity to
collaborate.
That's right, and to give feedback. And so we can work with giving feedback, and you can give a response. I don't know, or, oh, is it this? Yes, no, maybe, okay, let's work with this. Oh, let's try this. Maybe if we try this. And so that's where a lot of it takes place. The other part of it is collaborative. So usually on the main projects, learners can work together. And so it's lexical building, language building, word building, with adjectives in the beginning. And then we take it from the very literal, so sensory language, to the figurative. And so we're building metaphors and similes by working out in the garden.
I love it, really.
And then from there, we'll move on to more creative work. So there are some artistic renditions, and it's 5 units, and each unit begins with a small piece of writing and a presentation. So you'll get some speaking. The skills are integrated and individualized. So there's practice for your writing, there's practice for speaking, and then the integrative communication aspect.
This is great.
It'll culminate into a final piece of writing. And then along the way, or in the end, we'll be doing discourse analysis on that. So looking at the language that's used and talking about, okay, what does this mean, when we look at relationships with the natural world? Is it, are we, has there been a change over time? Have we focused a bit more on nature as we go through the project? Do we look at our place within nature? Yeah, I think that's basically it.
So maybe now you can invite our students or future students to join the group, and I think we can say goodbye.
Okay, it would be lovely to have you folks as a part of our project. It's a great chance to develop your skills, your language skills, the 4 domains. So your reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills, especially
yeah.
for this, because it's going to be a highly communicative project, both collaborative and individual work. I'm also a teacher of public speaking at the University of Warsaw, so I'm happy to take many of our projects will begin with public speaking exercises, and we'll talk about that. That'll be part of our commentary. So a part of the nonverbal communication that goes on in speaking, a part of projection with our work, and, gesture, language, and how we might use visuals. What else? Come, be a part of it. It's very open, it's not graded, and it looks at very specific aspects of the matriculation, Polski Matura, exercise, such as describing family, talking about place and nature, traveling, some of the many themes that you'll go through, and some of those discourses, interrogatives, asking questions, responding to questions, so on and so forth, and short pieces of writing, specific text types. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you, Renata.